Hey everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. Um, Today is, as you can probably guess, a different video than what I usually do. For those who don't know me, I usually do gameplay videos, or I'm continuing on a series on faith, in theology. Speaking of which, I'll be making a video about the seven deadly sins. Each episode will be a different sin. Um, yeah, but I came up with this project about a couple of years ago to design a spacecraft, and I'm an average person. I don't have any, especially I'm not mathematically or scientifically inclined. So, um, yeah, I don't expect anything. This is out of fun and out of the sake of trying an effort. I'll make another video about my inspiration behind this and what I'm trying to start here, and hopefully this will be something. Hopefully I can gain traction and gain a following, because I guess after everything, this is kind of my dream to make videos and to put stuff out there for people. I'm so open to making other forms of content, maybe even cooking. But I think I'll make a video and put on TikTok my dreams and aspirations in life. But you're not here for that. You're here for the spaceship. Yeah. So the idea of this is to make a spaceship that is more reminiscent of sci-fi. Stuff we're seeing in movies instead of a rocket. Um, Yeah, so we're gonna try this. I actually have a drawing pad here today. I've had this forever, but I've never really had an opportunity to use it. Um, so get ready for a messy video. Um, I don't know where this will go. Maybe I won't even make an episode after this. But we're gonna try, and we're gonna have some fun with it. Um, we might design something today, we might not, but I think we're just getting down to the basics of idea. So there's just gonna be a lot of writing. For anybody who is experienced and or has any knowledge or is credible, I guess, or qualified. I mean, please comment what I am doing good, what I need to do better, what is wrong. Any criticism helps. um, yeah. And if you are interested in me finishing any of the playthroughs of the games that I haven't finished or want me to play another game, feel free to leave that in the comments. Or any ideas you have for theology. So yeah. Um, so I guess today's video is the who, what, when, where, and why of it all. So who is this for? It's not for, I guess, astronauts, you know. Um, Whoops. It's really hard to spell on this. Yeah, so I guess astronauts would be pretty good. Um, I don't have a field. Like what I for E. Whoops. Um, I don't have an idea on what this is going to be for exactly, but we'll get to that in a minute. What is this for? That's the thing. I guess that'll be the field. Um, so obviously, especially at my level of knowledge in this is not to get to another planet or any other body, not to the moon, not anything. Um, I guess for now we could set our sights on just getting to maybe at the atmosphere near space. So to get to near space. When? Well, I guess when is kind of an NA, right? Doesn't really apply. Where, I guess, the where this is for, meant for, I guess it's just earthbound near space. I'm sorry for my spelling. Cursive is hard in on digital. Why? Uh, to try. To try something. So, what else should we do? I guess we can label all the stuff needs needed. Um, so things we should probably think of, um, or I guess a to-do list. Eventually, design the actual ship, right? Next, supplies, I guess, for the astronaut or astronauts. For in terms of who, I suppose we can go for a crew of 4 people. I guess that's a good number, right? Here, actually, let's change the number or the color. Let's add some color into this. Right. So supplies. Um, let's see. What else is needed? Uh, I guess understanding takeoff, and then that's probably a star. Whoops. Actually, no. Let's do a different color. I don't want this just to be a boring PowerPoint, you know? This is a horrible star. You get the idea. In order to do that, I actually just purchased a game called Kerbal Space Program, and I've heard that it might be good for me to understand the basics of um, physics. Obviously, nothing in depth and or all of the factors that are taken into physics and aerospace engineering. So I need to get a basic grip of physics and engineering. The problem with this is I hate math with a passion. Or no, I don't hate math, but it's difficult for me. For school. I guess hence why I'm doing this project because it's on my time and the way it's derived from passion, not necessity. So, because that's what I say. I say intelligence derives from passion. If you don't love something, you're not going to want to learn it. And if you love something, you're going to learn everything about it. It just makes sense. Um, yeah, so needs. What else? So we have the design of the ship. What were our main goal? Supplies, kind of an addition to our main goal. Takeoff. Okay, sorry about that. I had to answer something real quick. Yeah, so in order to understand takeoff, we need to learn physics as well as basic engineering. This is going to be a very long feat, and I don't expect to do this anytime soon. What else is needed? Um, hmm, I guess references. Um, whoops. Uh, Dang. Okay, sorry. My spelling is not good today. I should probably just spell in print. So references. I guess here. Let's um references. Let's start with bullet points for that. I already know about the. I think it's U2 spy plane. Um, has a very. I think it's like a step towards what I'm looking for. Um, references, and these are the basic concepts of the what I'm trying to go for when doing this. I want mobility, mobility of a helicopter in space. Obviously not design, but just mobility. Um, and maybe that with a plane, like the U2 spy plane. Um, yeah, excuse the messy video today, but this is what I guess science is. even though this is hardly science, it's more so just thinking, um, which I guess is a process. Okay. And then we'll come up with references later. So, basic ideas is the basic idea is that in order for proper mobility, here, let me get a better color. Let's try blue. In order for better mobility, um, we need probably a thruster that can move directions. Maybe not omnidirectional, but let's say there's a wing, right? That is not well done. Let's say there's a wing, right? Well, the problem with a plane design is that it only goes one way. That's where the mobility of the helicopter comes in, although we're not going to have a propeller because that is dependent on air, which there is none in space. So, like the U-2 spy plane design, here, let's get rid of the thruster of a basic jet or a basic plane. Um, my theory is to probably have an opening right here that contains the thruster, right? So let's pretend that's the thruster right there. And let's get it from so let's pretend this is the plane, and then that's where the thruster would be. Let's try to make it to where the thruster, let's try green, can move in this kind of pattern. Um, as well as that way. That way, the spacecraft can move in pretty much any way, left to right to up and down slash forward and back. Um, obviously, there's a lot more to this. One big thing is material, because you can't exactly go to space with a spacecraft made out of Fisher Price plastic, right? So, um, yeah. So that I guess that goes on to another thing we have to research is material. Whoops. What does what is required for a spacecraft to um, be able to fly? The biggest problem with material, I would assume, is trying to make sure it's fit for another thing we need to talk about, which is re-entry. I say re-entry is probably the most. Oh, that is not well done. Whoops. Probably the most difficult in terms of creating a quality ship. Only maybe seconded, if not equal, with takeoff. Although I'd say reentry is a lot more rough. Um, so, and that would probably have to do something flame resistant. I'll put resistant for short. Yeah. Also, aerodynamics. Aerodynamics. Whoops. Um, so another thing I looked up when designing a spaceship, it's not about speed. It's about height. So it's not about how fast we get there, although I'm pretty sure speed is, speed is definitely a factor regardless, I assume, but it's not the most important. Um, so which goes to, for the thrusters, would be a good color. Let's do orange. Fuel and space for that fuel. Space. Then arrow. And then in terms of aerodynamics, we need to, because that helps requiring less fuel and less drag or wind resistance. So we need to come up with something. I'm thinking, I forget what they're called, but they're like the modern jets that can go to like borderline atmosphere. Um, I guess we can come up with a blank new, and then we'll save. Sure. Whoops. Excuse me for that. Um, let's create a new one, and then here, hold on. I'm gonna have to screenshot that because it's just not working for me. All right, let's go to new. Um, in terms of the design, we're gonna go something, and I'll have to look it up too. It's a, I guess we could draw the Earth. So let's pretend this is the Earth. I know it's all green, and I know that's not completely accurate, but you know what? We're gonna have a little bit of art class while we do this. Um, yeah. So the biggest thing about this, we're not trying to get to any other planet. That is not a good planet. For Mars, for instance. That is not our goal. As I've said, our goal, and um, so let's say this is Earth. This is around the atmosphere, right? We're trying to get just, I guess my main goal is just to try to get to here. And then next step, so that'll be step 1. Step 2 in the design is just enough to make it where it can go to space for a bit, which would require oxygen. And that's really it. You know, we don't know how much time we're gonna try to make this trip. Probably just enough for a test maneuver. And then re-entry. That's all we're looking for. And then in the future, maybe other planets or um, something like the moon would be more of an option. But I mean, we're already doing the moon. Ares 2, Ares 3 is on its way February 6th. So if you're interested in that, check that out. That's fascinating. Yeah, but we don't have a project for this. So if you're interested, you can put down a name. Although I personally would like to come up with a name. Um, but hey, if it's good, feel free to comment. I'd love that. Uh, yeah. So I guess that's our plan for now. This video is a little bit lengthy, and I don't want to waste your time. But thank you so much for watching. And I know we didn't really do much, but again, this is just the thought process and basic idea on where we're going with this. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Please comment if you have any concerns, ideas, criticisms, um, sources on where I can learn. Let me know. And let me know if you want to play Kerbal, want me to watch, or if you want to watch me play Kerbal Space Program. I cannot speak today. Um, thanks again, and have a wonderful day.